front and surprise us with her presentation today. And then we've got Wayland as well. And Wayland has a really exciting business, and he's going to give us a tour of his business here in the Arts District as well. So Robert kind of wanted to give a feel of all three different things. Cheyenne, who is here, who's the director at Art Share LA, Robert board member, also on the committee with me, as well as Allison Bloss and Wayland. She's going to be tech, helping us out with anything that we all need. So thank you, Cheyenne, and thank you everyone for being here. Randy, take it away.
Thank you, Cindy, and thanks for kicking things off. My remarks will be fairly short, just to welcome everybody again. This is our, we've had many, many neighbor nights back in the day, which we can hardly remember. We used to have them live, and they were always one of our hallmark events that allowed us to reach out to local residents and gather and just share some news about the area that we love and embrace so much, the Art District. But this is now the second of our virtual neighbor nights, which we all seem to be in the virtual world now, and that's okay. We on the LaRaba board saw this as a great opportunity to continue to connect, continue to have a presence with our constituents, everybody down in the Art District, and continue to share our fellowship and goodwill, and just again a way to connect with everybody. So I see some faces I'm very familiar with. My board members are on, and I see some other people joining us, which is exactly what we want to see and hear. I just want to give a quick acknowledgement to those of you on the board, or perhaps otherwise, that have been so helpful in putting this together and perpetuating neighbor nights. We sort of wish that we don't have to do virtual neighbor nights much longer, but of course that's the big $10 billion question as to how much longer this will go. But in the meantime, we'll enjoy our camaraderie and our time together. It's a great format. Each week or each month at Neighbor Nights, we will have several of our local residents and stakeholders and business people talk about their business, and perhaps it'll open your mind a little bit about what everybody else is doing down there. So welcome. Thanks again for everybody who put this together and enabled us to be here tonight. I'm available to anybody that's on the line anytime with respect to anything going on at all. I welcome your thoughts and input and your engagement. So with that, Cindy, I will turn it back over to you to introduce those of you that are going to kick off the meeting and start tonight. Thank you.
Randy, did you or Cheyenne want to talk about the farmers market that's a part of LaRaba as well?
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you for reminding. And Cheyenne, you can jump in on this as well. But for well over a decade, LaRaba has been a very, very proud sponsor of what we just know as our farmers market. The longer way to say it is the City Hall Farmers Markets. We're all familiar with those all over the LA area. We have wonderful farmers market, and this one has been near and dear to us. It is run by a colleague of ours, Susan Hutchison, and she's been at it for a very long time. And of course, by its name, you know, it's held at City Hall. We, like everybody else in the world, has had to shift to a different format. But I think it's actually worked out quite well. We can't have people showing up and enjoying the farmers markets like we used to, live and together. So we've shifted to a virtual platform, and Cheyenne, maybe you can give the email connection or the web connection if you have it there handy. I don't have it in front of me, but
yeah, put it into chat for us later on.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. But we're huge supporters, and we want to make sure this is a good effort by us. We continue our relationship with the farmers and the vendors who contribute products to the marketplace, and those that have patronized the City Hall Farmers Market for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years now. So we've been able to make a go of it. We have now an online ordering system. We have a contactless pickup still at City Hall. So in a matter of a few weeks, through a lot of effort by this board and a lot of effort by Susan, we've been able to pull together a reasonable substitute for a farmer's market. And we actually are all very optimistic about how this might be very much the wave of the future.
That's great, Randy. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's go ahead and turn it over to Julia. I know that timing is really of essence today for you, and we really, really appreciate you being here and telling us just a little bit of an overview about what's happening with the Arts District Little Tokyo Neighborhood Council. Thank you for being here.
Yay. Hi, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here and connect with more community members. I'm Julia J. Posen. I'm on the Historic Cultural Neighborhood Council. We've actually just changed our name to Arts District Little Tokyo Neighborhood Council to try and make things a little easier for everybody. I joined the board about a year ago. I've lived in the neighborhood for almost 9 years now. I'm also a small business owner in a small company, a social good company called Steel Straw. And on the board, I'm the environmental chair, so that tends to be an area that I put a lot of emphasis on. But it's been a real pleasure serving the community. We do cover Arts District and Little Tokyo, and although both neighborhoods are distinct, there's a lot of common ground and collaboration, and we're always looking to, find ways to create more of that collaboration and support, especially during these, intensive times that we're all facing right now in different ways. So the board itself is made up of 14 different members. There's at-large members, there's property owners, and there's residents. I'm a resident. I actually live and work on Traction Avenue. And I know some of y'all are my neighbors. I'll just put it out there, are also looking for a new president. Ours currently resigned about a week ago. So if you know anybody who's feeling inspired. And we have public meetings once a month, the second Tuesday of every month. We've switched as well to a Zoom format, and so that that experiment has actually been going very well so far. But we're very much encouraging as many people as possible to participate in our meetings, even if you don't have a specific thing to say. Just listen in. It's a good opportunity to kind of learn a bit more about the process and really, our goal and my goal is to be advocates for you as residents, as business owners. And I think that's important to have people on the ground. Where sort of the most local form of public officials that you can have. And the advantage of that is that, we have the opportunity to have closer relationships with all of you, because I live here in the same neighborhood that you do. So I'm always down to grab a coffee. I guess we're not doing that right now. Grab a Zoom coffee right now and get to know everybody as much as we can. We have a website, hcnc.atld.org, which I can put in the chat. And on there, you can sign up for our newsletter. We also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I can put that on there as well. And through our website, if you do want to submit something to our agenda, you can do that straight through the website, whether it's a land use issue or some kind of disturbance, or whether you want us to write a letter in support of an initiative or some sort of issue that you're facing. Those are all great things that we can agendize and talk about and vote on as a board. We also have funding. We've had a $42,000 budget from the city, and we put that towards different kinds of neighborhood purpose grants and improvements. So that could be anything from improving a dog park to sidewalks to watering trees, greening the neighborhood. We've been a strong supporter of ArtShare for a long time, and they hold a lot of great public community events, and so we sponsor those events. So that's one thing that if you're a nonprofit or if you're a school, you can apply for grant funding. And I think that there is not enough organizations in the Arts District that are taking advantage of this opportunity. Our budget is being reduced. The mayor's office has had to make very intensive budget cuts, as I'm sure we all know. So I believe that next year it'll be $35,000 instead of $42,000. But nonetheless, please, please, please request funding from us for your public events or your improvements that you think should be happening in the neighborhood. I really want to support that. And we're actively looking for those kinds of things to support. So I think that's kind of an overview. I'm happy to answer some more specific questions. I would say in terms of funding, the next request, probably July. So we've run out of funding for the moment, but July is the next best opportunity to request. Show up to those meetings and join our mailing list to stay in the loop. And I'll put my email as well, and we're just always open to feedback and want to deepen our collaboration. And it's so great that the Ravas has such a strong leadership and relationship with this community and is of this community. And I'm excited to collaborate as much as possible, you know, with the existing organizations in the Arts District, because we're all stronger when we work together.
Thanks, Julia, so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to hearing more about some of the business projects that you've been working on as well soon for our rest of our team here. So
yes.
yeah.
Oh, and we have a list on our website of businesses in the Arts District that are open right now. So check that out. And if you don't see a business listed or you're not listed, then please let us know. We can make sure that's updated.
That sounds great. Thanks so much, Julia. Really appreciate it. So I'm also going to, hey, I see Sean has joined us too as well here. So also, if anyone has any comments or any specials that they're doing that they want to let us know about, if they're a business or a restaurant that is open in some way, go ahead and put it in chat. And then when we're done with our featured presentations this evening, we can jump back over and chat about anything else. And then just as a reminder, Miguel Vargas will be jumping in. He's just running a little late, so I may go between the featured presentations to bring Miguel in as well. So let's go ahead and start with Megan Declar, our artist in the Arts District. Hi, Megan. You need to unmute yourself.
Yes. Done.
All right. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah.
And what would you like to present today?
My name's Megan, and I've lived in the Arts District, I don't know, like either across the bridge in Boyle Heights or down at the Santa Fe Art Colony or here at the Molino Street Loft since 2000. So I've been in the neighborhood forever, and I've seen so many things change. Before that, I was from Philadelphia, and I went to undergraduate school at the Tyler School of Art and then graduate school at the Claremont Graduate University, which is out in Claremont, which is how I ended up here in LA. Anyway, I just have like a slideshow, and I figure whatever we get to in 15 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever is totally cool, and I just stop it right there. And if you guys have any questions or comments or whatever, like feel free to totally interrupt me and just ask away. And then I rehearsed this a little bit with my friend earlier, and he said he was on a cell phone, and he told me to tell everybody to switch it to horizontal, because otherwise you're going to see stuff distorted, and it's not going to look very good at all. So,
and I would also add to change your view to speaker view, so you just see Megan's, or actually you're going to share your video. So
I'm going to stop my video and share my screen because I don't want to watch myself talk, if that's okay.
Smart. Go for it.
Okay, cool. All right, let me try and, okay, so the host has disabled attendee screen sharing. Are we good? No. You tell me, Cheyenne.
Sorry.
Okay, cool. Let me get there too. Okay, so, and then play. Here we go. Okay, so just in case you guys want to, I figured I'd throw my social media out there first. If you want to connect with me on the web or Instagram or Facebook, I'm everywhere. Please feel free to follow. So I make art out of this stuff. It's called flagging tape, and it's available in every hardware store. It's all over the place. You guys have probably never even like noticed that it's there, but it's there on every construction site. It marks trails when you go hiking. It's just a plastic ribbon. It's extruded PVC, which is one of the most common materials out there. And then it's color coded for like practical stuff, like green is for sewer and yellow is for electrical. And, you know, so I just happened to found this material in 1999, 2000, and have been making giant artworks out of it ever since. So I figured I'd start you guys in like 2007 and we'll see how far we get. So this is a artwork that I made inside a shipping container at the Homeland Security Dock in San Pedro in 2007. So you can see it's like when you look at it straight on, it looks very, very flat, but when you're in person, it's very three-dimensional. And as you walk around the shipping container, you realize that you're looking into this sort of like portal of apertures. And it really does make you kind of key in. And it was a beacon at this festival. So you would walk up to the festival not knowing where it was, and then you'd see this bright, hot, red lit container and just draw you in. So those of you who are longtime residents of downtown LA, you probably remember this one. It was up for a whole year in 2008. At Burt Green Fine Art at the corner of 5th and Main, which at that time in 2008 was kind of one of those corners that you kind of walked to but not really past for whatever reason. And I realized that as a lady, I didn't feel comfortable on that corner because there wasn't really a light source at all. So I decided to make this really giant, colorful light source. You can see me in there in 2008 working hard in the windows. And then to create something that would move as you drove by. And that's what you guys aren't seeing in this slideshow, is that all of my pieces appear to move and twist and bend and give you kind of the moire optical illusion at all times. I also investigate how people are going to come in contact with my stuff. So this is at the Wexner Center for the Arts in Columbus, Ohio. And if you're an architecture nerd, you know that this is like the deconstructivist building to end all other deconstructivist buildings, because it looks like a castle actually did it with a piece of graph paper and they created a building together. And so this very heavy framework runs all the way through the building and was kind of like a playground for me to use on my optical interventions here. And then Urban Outfitters and I partnered together and we put flagging tape in all of their stores worldwide. So this is the store in Hollywood that I did. Another view during the daytime. It gave wonderful shadows and encouraged people to come into the public breezeway between all the buildings and kind of just take a moment and enjoy stuff. And it had a great Google Street presence for the year as well. I also have an installation, and this one is still up. Most of my work goes up and then comes down maybe a month or two later or a couple weeks later. This one's been up since 2011. This is the Creative Artists Agency. I don't know if you guys have been there. It's at 2000 Avenue of the Stars. They call it the Death Star. Before this installation went in because it was so cold. And then my job as, you know, they are my client, is to give them something that's iconic and placemaking so that when everybody entered their public lobby, they would be greeted by this large sculpture hanging from the skylight. And if you want to go see this piece, you can go to the Annenberg Center for Photography and they'll totally validate your parking. And you can go in there and hang out with it. I think they give you like a half hour. And CAA will let you into their lobby, but only if you mention that you're there to see the public artwork. Otherwise, like the Rolling Stones or whoever might be in there, and they're very uptight about who has access. So just be sure you tell them you know there's an artwork in there and that you're supposed to go be able to see it. This one's no longer in their collection. I took it down because people were getting kind of handsy, and that's another thing about my artwork is that people love touching it. I cannot stop them from touching it. Children run to it like it's a toy. I think it's the bright plastic colors and the really celebratory kind of look of the artwork. So this united floors 2 through 8 at the Creative Artists Agency. And it was directly opposite the elevators, so it was totally fun when you went up and down the elevators. It totally messed with your eyes. And everything was either hand-tied to a piece of wood that went inside there, or hand-tied to a little ring. And that's kind of like the hand of the artist in my work is not always evident. And this, so you might be asking yourself like, well, how do you do that logistically? And the answer is like CAD design. So we use like computer aided design, Rhino, for those of you who are geeky, Grasshopper, Human, and Python as plugins and programs to render these projects to give everybody an idea of what to expect. Like we work with a lot of volunteers and they want to know what it's going to look like even if they're only there at the very beginning. So this gives them an idea of what's going on and what it might look like, and then here's the real thing. So this is 30 by 30 by 30 feet. We're standing on a second floor balcony looking down into the artwork. And if you were on a scissor lift, you would see this. This is a view nobody gets to see except for us on the job, looking deep into the artwork because the first layer was white. And so these are just shots as you walk around it. So from the second floor, it afforded wonderful views. From the first floor, it affords views more like this. Everything is hand tied. So the hand of the artist is definitely in there, even though if I'm doing my job right, it looks like a computer pretty much threw up in the space because everything's just so hyper colorful and detail oriented. So this was at the Lancaster Museum of Art and History. I've also partnered with Inner City Arts Education, and we raised $750,000 in one day. For them, we created an event inside a huge event tent that was a third of the size of a football field. So I created these lines in space, and it went back to the idea that the students will learn there at the school, and then they go out into the world, and then they cross paths again. But they all started at the same place. I was a recipient of the 2016 City of Los Angeles Individual Artist Mid-Career Grant, which is also known as the COLA. And I made this like immersive rainbow cube. So you could walk in through the door and the 3 or 4 colors that I used would come together to create way more colors than 3 or 4. I did not use green or orange, but you see those colors here. And as you walk into the cube, you get immersed in color. You are able to close the door behind you and just have a moment of zen in there, enjoying like a Yaya Kusama sort of cube. I don't know if you guys have been to the Broad and experienced her work, sort of like that. And then you exit through the door and the door closes. So one of my most exciting projects, and this one I think kind of really puts it all together, is this project I did in Sydney, Australia. So we're standing on the ground floor of a building that is 6 stories tall, looking up into the ceiling. Here's another view to kind of give you the perspective on that. So this was made with 60 volunteers over 6 weeks in Sydney, Australia, right on the Circular Quay, which is right near the Sydney Opera House. And what I like best about this piece is that it's a cacophony of color at the top. It's really all over the place, but from the bottom it creates a rainbow. So we did that using CAD. It's 6 layers of tape that were put in opposing directions, counterclockwise and clockwise, to create a rainbow around the viewer. And you can see this is a human being down here. So it's a very large piece, and they happen to have this glass floor. There's a huge tourist attraction in Sydney. If you go, definitely stop by. There's a 3D map in the floor of the building. All the cruise ships stop there, very popular. And then looking back up into the design. And I have time-lapse videos of most, if not all, of these projects. Another of my clients is the Human Rights Campaign, and we created a memorial to the people who were slain at the Pulse nightclub in 2016. So we have printed all of their names along the facade of the building and have created a temporary light and space kind of installation on their facade. The community of the pride and the celebratory nature of gay pride is kind of enveloping this interior, which is 49 strips, 1 for each person who was killed that day. And then we work through the pride flag spectrum of light at night. I did another piece. I've done 2 more pieces for them. This one is a deconstructed pride flag, but we've taken out 49 strips and replaced them with just white tape, 1 for every person who was killed that day. And then we did a celebration piece too. This one was more about the celebratory nature of pride and LGBTQ plus AI rights. And it's hand-tied, a wall weaving. I've also worked with colleges. The college that I work with actually made this entire piece with very little instruction from me. It's a suspended piece. It has 3,200 strands of flagging tape that hang down around a light. This is their art and design building at Austin Peay State University. And you can see from outside, it creates like a rainbow. Depending on where you're looking, you can see right through it. Other places, it seems very opaque. And then I had the pleasure of doing Paris Fashion Week. This is the before. I very rarely show the before picture, but this is before. And then this is during, this rainbow backdrop. And then the models would walk down this runway of sorts, I guess a upside down runway from the behind. and then show off their clothing, Mira Makati's designs, and kind of dance with the tape and throw it around. It was really interactive, kind of a selfie station of sorts at Fashion Week. Really fun. And then when I'm not making giant stuff, I'm making smaller stuff. So these are some pictures from my studio of smaller works that are like 18 by 18 inches woven. That's flagging tape that you're seeing there. I'm just folding it in half and creating these layers that are about 2 millimeters thick. These take about a week to make, each of them. And I got sick of waiting so long. That whole week was so long that I started making smaller ones. So these are only 6 by 6 inches, and I'm creating a bunch of those right now. They're really much more of a sketch kind of idea for me. So, and you can see right there how crazy detailed that is. You're probably looking at only about 2 or 3 inches of the piece. And that's the back. So they're all tied around the back, and I think the backs are just as fun as the fronts, personally.
Hey, Megan, there's some questions starting to come up for you.
Oh, yeah.
One is, are they for sale?
Yes, they are very soon going to be for sale. Those 6 by 6 inches for sure. They are going to be announced on Instagram, and I think I've got 5 done. I'm waiting for 5 more, and then yeah, that's going to go up on Instagram. First come, first serve.
Right on. Does anyone else have any questions, and do they want to unmute themselves and ask Megan?
Yeah, feel free.
How about how amazing this work is, Megan? Wait till you see all the comments that everyone's making about your work right now on chat.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really beautiful. So incredible.
You guys can see my washing machine blowing up from dyeing ropes, because we work with clients like Four Seasons Resorts too. So I don't make temporary stuff solely anymore. It's permanent now too. So I've got a lot of dyed rope things coming up in the future with developers for the 1% for Art through the Department of Cultural Affairs. This is somebody's private staircase. You can't visit this one. Sadly, it's in their home. So the upside of selling work is that it goes in someone's house. The downside is no one gets to see it. This one's at the Facebook Connectivity Lab in Northridge. If you're ever in the area, they have a drone facility out there. And we made this with dyed cord, and then it's fire retarded to Class A standards. You can kind of see the cord there. It's about 4 millimeters thick. And then this piece is coming up. I'm working on this right now, and it'll look like that when it's installed. It'll be in Woodland Hills, California. And then this one will also be in the Valley. And that is it, guys.
So amazing. Yay! Woo-hoo!
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
beautiful, and a fantastic presentation too. I really love seeing all the different sizes of their work, and some of those installations that are large are so impressive, and the way that they are incorporated into the architecture, just absolutely incredible. Congratulations. I mean, you don't need us telling you that, but I'm just like, thank you.
Oh no, I love to hear it. Bring it on. Yeah.
Can you tell us your Instagram? What was your Instagram?
It's Megan Declar Studio. So it's my name. Here, I'll put it in the chat. How's that?
Perfect.
Perfect. Anyone have any questions for Megan right now?
Melissa P jumped in, and she wants to know, what is your background and who inspires you? You covered a bit of your background, so who inspires you?
Yeah, Bridget Riley, her op art paintings just mess with your eyes. I love her. Love James Turrell, Light and Space. I've had the pleasure of going to that crater and experiencing it with my own eyes in 2001, and that was a life-changing experience. Donald Judd, Sol LeWitt. Frank Stella from the 60s and 70s, for sure. I see somebody said Victor Vassarelli, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, op art all the way. Love it.
He likes that. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for taking the time
thank
to
you.
present to us. Yeah, really,
Thank you so much.
And it's so awesome to see that talent still here in the Arts District. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 20 years now, guys.
Amazing.
It's super badass.
Thank you.
Yep. Sarah Mead. Hello from Here and Now.
Hi, how's it going?
Tell us a little bit about yourself and about Here and Now here in the Arts District.
Of course. Can you hear me okay?
Can everyone, I can hear you. Yep.
Perfect. Great. So yeah, here now it's a cocktail bar and restaurant. We opened up October, as here and now in October 2018, but prior to that we were known as Westbound, so the same ownership. We opened up, that was in May 2016. So obviously it was this full build out. We're in the One Santa Fe building. So we opened up shortly after they were there, but no one else has been in the space, so it was a complete build out. So that's what we've been doing. One of our most popular things that we do every year is Christmas. We, for a while, were known as Miracle. This last 2 years, Blitzens. I'll try and share this. That works.
She's
So, images.
there you go.
Perfect.
That looks great, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, looks fantastic.
So, Blitzens, during Christmas, it lasts the entire month of December. We start the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, and then we'll run through New Year's Eve will be our last night. Last year, we also, for the first time, did Christmas in July. So ran that for 2 weeks. So looking to do that again, whatever that, definitely going to be different because of COVID, but looking to do something. So, and then the image on the right is actually the cover of our menu. We did it as a kind of like a children's story to kind of remember, to resemble the Golden Books, if you guys remember that as kids. So you go in and then it would fill out and talk about the different cocktails. And so we try to have a little bit of everything on our menu. These are some of the food items. Left is the baked brie, some empanadas, the roasted squash, and cranberry salad. Here's some of our cocktails. But try to have a full range, so it's not just all hot chocolate and eggnog, but there's going to be a light, refreshing gin and tonic, but maybe there's, a pine cordial in it or something so that it's not so heavy that you're like, I can't be here the whole night. An old fashioned, but maybe there's some Christmas spices in it. So things like that. We try to have a really well balanced menu with a lot of fun glassware that we spend a lot of time trying to source. So yeah, and then I don't really have any great images of, I feel like, the venue, but we do fully deck that out. And then on various nights have different guests. So one night we had some sexy Santas come in. One night, our first Friday of this last Christmas, we got a sledding hill, which was crazy. They come in and break it, make it. And that lasted like 2 full days. Even though I thought it wouldn't last the night, but there was some sledding. And then here's just like some of, we drag queen bingo we've done. We've had burlesque dancers, we've had carolers. We got 2 different types, one that are very Victorian-esque, Dickensian, as well as kind of 1950s Santa baby types. And we all get dressed up with like different outfits and t-shirts and sweaters and whatnot. So yeah, so we've been doing that since 2016, and it's been super popular. So looking at that, but not quite unsure of what's going to happen after COVID. Stop all that. Yeah, so that's, and then the rest of me talking to you guys of what we're currently doing and what we think the future holds. So after the mayor's announcement the restaurant got shut, we moved to delivery. We hadn't been on any of the platforms before, so quickly we were closed on Monday, so by Tuesday we were up with Postmates. And as many of you might know, Postmates takes, 33% of revenues. So that's the spread of business, and at that point, that was our only form of income. That's really tough. It's not just like, we're all operating as a normal restaurant, it's just something to supplement. But as their only source, that was extremely difficult. So we ended up building an e-commerce site. So when you go on our normal website, there's a link to the e-commerce site. And all our bottles of alcohol that are available for sale are on there. cocktails, food. So we're doing a lot of cocktails to go. I'll show you here to your left. So we've got like one of the little bottles here. This is the aquavit Negroni. We even got some here that are like spritzes that we're also bottling in-house. So it's kind of easy breezy, highball. So trying to do some fun, interesting stuff. We also have a slushy machine. So we've to come up with fun things right now. Right now we have a blue margarita in the slushy machine where $1 of sales goes to healthcare workers. And then the other one's a pandan pina colada. So those have been going well, especially this last weekend. So we've been doing that. Sales last Memorial Weekend was our best peak. And that probably amounted to, that's only roughly around 80% down in sales. So how much of what a good week right now looks like. You know, we're struggling. The big
Sarah, are you optimistic right now about your outlook? Are you feeling supported by the community?
I mean, there's definitely, I feel like some of the residents have been coming around. You get those regulars and you start to realize like, okay, well, see you next Friday sort of type. But I'm trying to remember what one of those weekends numbers were like. The most people we had was like 30 people came in on Friday and we're open from 12 to 9, where we might see 200, maybe like 250 people come through the doors on a Friday night. And that's on,
Wow.
and that's just with it being, you know, paced out. We're open, we changed our hours. We've done it a few times. One was really short, 5 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. And then we changed them once the PPP came in. So it's now 3 to 9, Tuesday through Thursday, and then 12 to 9. So 200 people even spread out over the course of a night. You wouldn't even feel it. It wouldn't be like, oh man, this place is crowded. It's just like, oh yeah, like there's people here. So to be dropped down to 30, and that was a good night. I think right now we're at 3 orders so far, and we've been open 3.5 hours. So stuff. And then with regards to support, the biggest one, and if we're gonna make it, and I'm not sure we will, is what's gonna happen with the landlord. The current offer on the table is 3 months deferment and to be amortized in 2021. If they don't change that, then I think, then there's no way. There's no way, one, that we're gonna be making that much net positive to pay it off in 2021, as well as what the rest of 2020 looks like. It's going to be extremely difficult, and it's gonna, we're gonna be at whatever those rules will be, but 25% capacity, or all the social distancing that will need to take place will affect what sales will be. And even all those pictures that I showed you of Christmas, we normally we'll be full by, when we open at 5 o'clock, we'll be full by like 6:30. There's not a seat in the house. We'll start a wait list. We've had hour-long waits out the door. All of that can't happen anymore. I won't be able to get as many people in here. So where that's our big money maker, it won't be.
So for right now, Sarah, locals can help you by actually purchasing online, delivery, and they can come, in and still, as you're explaining, what you can do right now to support you. And then were you going to show some sort of presentation right now with a drink, one of your fancy drinks right now, or? I'm kind of like, my mouth's watering a little bit to see what you're going to do.
Okay, so showing you one of the other things that we have available on our cocktail kits, so that you can get, yes, you obviously can get the mini ones, but you can also get the ingredients for certain kits, and then be able to make them at home. So this one here is fancy free. It's a variation of an old fashioned. So basically, start off, it is 2 ounces bourbon, and then Luxardo Maraschino, that is going to be a half ounce. And then we change our bitters. Normally, like the bitters you'll see at the grocery store look like this. We change them into pretty little bottles. So that was our orange, and then the yellow tape is our Angostura. And then we're just gonna stir it down. Dilute it, chill it, and then mix all the ingredients. Normally we have all forms of citrus at the bar. So you, in any given day, you get fresh orange, lime, grapefruit, lemon, things as they are, and where we be things would rot. We've been trying to really limit fresh citrus. Right now we have lime for our margarita, and it's also in the pina colada. We don't currently have fresh pineapple just because we used our last one today. So we'll be getting some more on that. But normally I would garnish with an orange. That's unfortunately right now a luxury I'm not prepared to afford.
Yeah. And Sarah, you could purchase all of these bottles from your website right now?
That is correct.
Nice.
And it's also a fancy free kit.
So beautiful. How many?
So normally this would have
right
an orange peel that I would zest and with those oils, but in this case, because it's just me that would be drinking it, I'm going to deprive myself of that. So that's that. Anyways, cheers, you guys.
Sarah, thank you so much.
Cheers, Sarah.
Cheers. Aww. Well, please, everyone that's there in the neighborhood, spread the word, support Sarah. We want to see you just continue to be able to get through this, but obviously more than get through, to be able to grow. So,
and then on the weekends, deliveries over $50, we're doing free delivery within a 5-mile radius. And right now I can't afford the insurance on that, so I am the delivery driver.
Nice.
So
that sounds like an incentive to have you come over and pour some drinks for me.
yeah, of course.
Cool.
Well, thank you. You have a question, Waylon?
Yeah, Sarah, so I think you said it, but just to be clear, are you making cocktails to go that come, like, let's say, enough for 4 cocktails, it's pre-mixed, all you do is put over ice or something like that? Is that what you offer?
Right. No. So right now we have 2 options. They are all in, like, just depending upon the drink, these are all still single serves. We offer the single serves. And then we are also doing a cocktail kit, which then would come, like, you get, so that if you want to do it at home, so then you could do.
And how many servings does a cocktail kit come with, or do you get to choose how many servings you're looking for?
Also
Oh, I see. It's you serve all the big bottles. I understand.
Yeah, so that in this case, this is a 750, so there's 2 ounces of booze, so that's 12 servings. You won't use all the Moschino, so maybe you just come back and buy a bottle of bourbon on top. And then some of that, I don't have anything on the website of it, but it's definitely, we've done it where people have called ahead and been like, can I get 10 servings of your pina colada? And so as soon as they rocked up, we handed them we put them in bottles, just like them big bottles. We did that with Cinco de Mayo, where we just what we'd already used as an empty tequila bottle, and it was like, okay, here are 6 servings of margaritas ready to go, sort of thing. So a lot of that we've been doing kind of custom. So if it's something you want, definitely you can batch that out. It's also, we haven't been doing the big one because of wastage, but it's if you don't sell one of those drinks, a mini one, okay, that's only a little bit of line that went bad, or a little bit of booze, versus something that maybe this size of margaritas that we made a whole bunch on Tuesday thinking we'd sell them, and then we don't, then they're going to go bad. So
Thank you so much, Sarah, for being here and taking the time to show us from here and now everything that you've got going on and what you did at Christmas. And again, we're all here. We're cheering you on. So, yeah.
Cindy?
Yes.
I wanted to just chime in. One, I had a question about where Sarah got her inspiration and her love of Christmas. I mean, it's uncomparable. No one does Christmas like Sarah here and now. It's amazing.
Right, Michael? Yes. What do you
Incredible.
think, Sarah?
I mean, I do enjoy Christmas, but not, I mean, like if you went to my house at Christmas, like I'd have a tree and some stockings, but like that, you know, that's about it. One of the 4 basic food groups. And I'm being asked for the 4 basic food groups for an elf, and that's candy cane, candy corn, so, candy cane. Sorry, it's candy cane. And right after we opened, I guess, no, I'd say that there's a place in New York that started doing a Christmas pop-up in 2014. And so it started being like, oh, that sounds great. Like, that would be fun. Maybe, and especially moving in this one Santa Fe building in 2016 where we were really struggling right at opening. And so Nacho was like, okay, well, maybe this would work. So definitely got to do it. It worked. And then every year then becomes like my own personal battle to best myself on like, how do I do it bigger and better than the year before? How do I build off of that? So that's where this year was the first year of getting a sledding film and things like that. So having we normally have old Santa, we've had little Santas. This was the first year to have sexy Santa or sexy Santas. So yeah, or just then it becomes just me being competitive and trying to top.
That was a good question, Michael. All right. Anyone else ready to move on? Waylon from 3C Companies. Thank you for being here today and sharing a bit about what you're doing there in the neighborhood.
Thanks for the intro, Cindy, and thanks for everybody, obviously, for jumping on the call and getting a little bit of social, I guess, gathering with still being social distance. So I appreciate everyone for jumping on. But yeah, I'm Waylon. I'm actually one of the partners, and I'm the general manager. We run 3C Farms, which is also formerly known as Cannibal City Collective for those who might know us in the district. We've been here at 547 Seton Street for almost 5 years now. And I've been, this is my first year of working, or I should say volunteering for a board seat with the La Raba Group. I've been around for about 3 years with them and thought I could hopefully give some help with the neighborhood and some new life and enjoy showing you guys what we do over here. If you haven't been to a dispensary before, I thought it would be kind of fun to show you guys what we kind of look like. Sorry, out on the floor here, but this is kind of a fun one. Again, we're in the arts district here, so we kind of play with a lot of the funness of arts. We have Asia Tabor is one of our in-house artists that works for us. You can kind of see the banners and fun stuff that she does for us. This is really just a reception. You come in and check in, and then once you come out onto the floor here, this is your typical dispensary. So it's really just like your typical retail store, like you would go anywhere else. And we carry a lot of different products. If it's
topicals, if it's CBD only, to heavy THC, to balance ratios. We also carry flower to vapes, depending on what your need is, and different strength, obviously, for someone who might be new or novice to cannabis. Sorry, I'm off the floor. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, we offer all different types for whatever ailment you might be looking for. That's the typical shop, but I thought what might be really fun, what a lot of people might haven't seen. We here at Cannibal City, aka 3C Farms, are a cultivation, what you might consider like a micro brewery. We have a micro business license. So we have the ability to grow, cultivate, and distribute on site, all the way from basically what we call our farm to table, or farm to bowl, if that's what you like. So I thought it would be fun to show you, without further ado, some of my girls that I hang out with on a daily basis. So this right here, the room that I'm currently in, this is what we call our veg room. So this is all vegetative state. So these are all mothers. These are larger plants. They are on 18 hours of daylight. They actually, the reason we do that is like your summer solstice, they're in vegetative state. So 18 to 24 hours, depending on where the stage that they might be in. This being what you might see as the very beginning start. So this is like what you call a clone. You can kind of see they're a lot smaller. These are only 6 inches tall. Well, this clone, if you're not familiar with cultivation, it's just been taken off the top of one of these mothers. Is what then we turn into, we put it back into, we give it a lot of B12, push it back into a rooting stage, and then it comes the exact same genetics and makeup of that original cannabis plant. So that's what allows us to be consistent batch after batch, time after time, with like an individual strain or whatnot. So over here, I thought would be fun to see from the veg to seeing what one of these cultivators like. And this is something really cool. You can see I'm turning very orange. As you look into a room, it's really bright. Each one of those bulbs is 1,000 watts. And I'll give you a better look. So this is what you see as a cultivation, all what we call a flower room. So this room here is 12 hours of light on, 12 hours of nighttime, and that triggers the plant to go into its flowering stage, which, let me turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Sorry about that.
You know, Waylon,
so yeah, like each one of these nugs that you see.
You're getting bad reception there, just so you know.
Okay.
It's kind of coming.
Is that better?
Yep.
But it looks gorgeous. It looks like the underside of the moon.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous.
Wow.
There you can kind of see a little bit better colors. I have to put a filter on so that you guys can see the difference on the colors versus what's really going on, what the girls see. So that's kind of just the fun part. We harvest here. I'll move out of this area. Okay, can you see me now? There we go. Sorry about that.
Yep.
We harvest weekly. So what that allows us to do is have the same strain harvested every week. This keeps us very fresh. So where some of these, if you're familiar with the cannabis industry, might do really big, large harvests, we call ourselves a micro cultivator, or we might call it craft cannabis, because we harvest every week in small rooms. Our rooms are only under 30 lights or less, where you see some of these large companies you might see on the news or hear about who have 100 to 300 light rooms. Just a different type of cultivation style and just the quality. And sure, Sarah can speak on that versus a cheap beer versus someone who wants to buy a high IPA or a different style ratio. That's kind of what you can do in the cannabis space. I'm gonna try this with you guys, but I would love to show you our new, did I just go blank?
Yeah, you did. So what Waylon is attempting to show us is his new facility based on Alameda, just behind where his grow house is. It's his new storefront that he's been designing and getting ready for months.
Yes, thank you, Cheyenne, for that. You guys hear and see me now? Sorry, switch buildings.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay, awesome. So let me turn this camera on one last time. This is our new dispensary. So this will actually put us out onto Alameda Street. So we're at 542 Alameda. This is the new dispensary where currently we're medical only, but we will be going into adult use, which really allows 21 or over to come into the store. And so this is kind of, it's a long road that we've dealt with the city planning department, Bureau of Cannabis Control. That's the state level versus the DCR, which is our city level. That's a lot of red tape, and it's been a 6-month project that turned into four years now. So we're almost there. What you're seeing here is gonna be really cool. To give that full experience of a microbrewery, it's plastic up, but that's all windows. And you can see when you come on the shroom floor, that's going to be a full cultivation area all through here. So now as an individual customer, someone can come in who can actually see what we do. Just like you go to a microbrewery and you see the big old stills where they're brewing the beer and the chargers. So, and this is actually our new showroom in the midst of getting painted and stained. It has a really fun theme, keeping it traditional to the building and more of the vibe down here. We're going more of a prohibition bar-esque like. So it should have a cool feel. This building that we're in is a 1915 construction, which 1979, I'm sure Cheyenne, you know just as well as I do, this building was the original Cirrus Arts Gallery. So, and that was one of the original arts galleries here in the Arts District.
It was
So
one of the first gathering places that the artists would go to, in this very kind of ragtag, unlicensed gallery, which he now occupies.
So, and thank you. And in order to pay tribute back to that, this is also built into our dispensary model. This will become the arts gallery that we will have rotating art. So any artists out there can always reach out to us, contact at 3cfarms.com. We will have a rotating gallery wall here. So it'll allow someone come through once they purchase their meds. They can see this, again, is all plastic, but you'll see cannabis on your left and art on your right. So this will be a lot of fun. One of our main artists, Asia Tabor, everyone's probably heard, about gateway drugs, and someone say, my cannabis is the gateway. Well, her model is art is the gateway, and she uses cannabis as kind of her platform to speak about it. So she works, again, with us all the time. Let's see a feedback. So, and that's kind of our space down here. And I just I hope you guys enjoy it. If there's any questions, I'm trying to get back to the chat thing here.
So great. Thank you that was a great tour. Really wonderful to see the construction, to see everything that you've done in there. I know a lot of people that have not been in the space have always been curious about what it looks like, Waylon. So it's really, and you've obviously worked really hard and are very experienced in this field,
Well, thank you. And yeah, so if any of you are patients out there, right now we are medical. If you have your recommendation from any time in January, basically, we are still, because of COVID, because a lot of the online or the doctors that are in the area have still closed down for new recs. We're accepting expired recs from January 1st, basically, at the time. And moving forward. And we're also offering, if you are a patient come in, Laraba is our promo code word for an additional 10% off your order. And we'll be running that one until basically, that's until COVID's over at this time. So.
That's great. Does anyone else have any questions? Do they want to jump in and ask any questions? Before I turn it over to Miguel Vargas, who I understand is now here to talk about the bid. Anyone else have any questions?
Waylon, I would love to ask, has COVID slowed you down or sped you up? I know that cannabis is considered essential.
Yes, the great thing is we were deemed essential, and we have another location up in the valley that has definitely picked up. We had to make a lot of adjustments to get into a delivery mode, to a curbside pickup, things that weren't exactly available to us until this happened. We got to expedite those tasks. So, I might have lost you, but It has downtown. It's been pretty steady and about the same. So fortunately, by being the essential, it's been great. But at the same time, it's a lot of work lately. So, but I really appreciate everyone for coming on, and thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us today with this, as well as being a board member. Thanks for being here as business to be featured. Wonderful. All right, let's move over to Miguel. Miguel, welcome. Thanks for joining us tonight. Are you there?
Yes, absolutely. Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Sorry, I had to take care of something earlier tonight, and I'm actually walking my dogs right now. But good to see everybody. Glad to. Thanks, Waylon, for showing off your new space. Looks amazing. So just wanted to give a quick update, really quick. So
Miguel, can you do an overview? I think there's a few people that might not be familiar with the bid. So first, tell what the bid does before the update on how we're doing.
Yeah. So the bid. We're a business improvement district, and we're the business improvement district for the Arts District. We are a geographic area, and every property owner within that area is assessed. And so those funds come back to our organization, and with those funds, with that funding, we provide security and street maintenance services. So you might have seen our guys. They're riding around the neighborhood in bicycles, or they're pushing their carts around, sweeping the streets. So that's ADLA. That's the bid. Been around for 6 years now, and the neighborhood is not the same today as it was before COVID-19, right? So there has been a little uptick in burglary and vehicle. For a while, vehicle break-ins were kind of down, but they're starting to come back up again. There's just not that many people on the street right now, right? So from a crime perspective, it's kind of not looking good out there. There's definitely just a lot of people taking advantage of the situation. They understand that there really aren't any consequences for anything right now, and so these same people are committing the same crimes over and over and over again. So we're struggling to kind of stop that and deter that. So, but it's happening all over downtown. But that's sorry to kind of be so gloomy, but that's what's happening right now.
So basically, I know that we hear this often, but for those that are down in the neighborhood, don't keep things in your car, lock your doors, just as far as the burglaries in the cars. Is there anything else for store owners? I mean, I know that Shannon and Sean, had a situation. Is there any other reports for the businesses that they should be aware of? And
yeah, Cindy, it's Michael here. I just wanted to let you guys know where Wisdom has a warehouse in the old Spice building at 5th and Seton, and on Friday night at 3 a.m. a truck pulled into the lot like they own the place and cleared out half of their warehouse, from what I understand. So I'm spending late nights down at our place making sure things are looking like people are around. So it's hitting all sectors now.
is that something, Miguel, that you were aware of for the bid side of things?
One second here.
It's okay. I hear the dogs. We're all dog lovers here, I think.
Yeah, sorry about that.
In the interim, should I show off my dog
Yeah.
who's sleeping?
Yeah, that sounds
Chachi.
great.
Aww. We went for a long
Well,
walk
let's
today.
You did? How fun. Well, until he can hop on again and share anything more with us, I know that Shannon, that you've been doing some work. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about what you and Sean are doing at Community right now?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the opportunity. So in the absence of our ability to make shoes, we kind of found a way to start making PPE gowns. And we've got some great contracts already flowing through. We just shipped out our first, I think we're up to like 60,000 gowns that we've shipped. And we just started negotiating with the city of LA, which is super important to us. Like, we actively reached out to them just to say, hey, how can we help? You know, a lot of these gowns are going out of state. So we're making some really good progress there. And it's been a huge learning curve, but basically we were able to get our factory workers back to work. And, you know, they can make shoes now. But really the gowns has been kind of a weird gift in a way. You know, we didn't expect it. But I guess when the call came, we were super excited to answer. So that's really been the bulk of our time, honestly, has been getting this gown situation together. High volume, it's all, you know, we're in FDA approval right now. So it's been interesting. But yeah, we're really, really grateful and hopeful that, you know, we can help locally, which has been our goal all along. So,
well, congrats on that.
Yeah,
thanks for sharing.
Yeah, if anybody knows of any hospitals or whatever, because we're selling directly to hospitals, and then we just talked with another group today that nursing homes, which we never really thought about because they're all on lockdown. And they're probably the least able to get the proper equipment, and they're really suffering. Like, you know, the guy that we were talking today, he told these horrible stories, and you know, for us, we were just like, oh man, like how do we like put that to the top of the list? Because, you know, the hospitals have the big budgets, and you know, these poor individual housing or nursing places, like, they don't. So that's kind of our new challenge for the week, is figuring that out, which we are ready. Like, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be really cool.
Cheyenne just pointed out, and I can say from a personal standpoint as well, assisted living. As you know, my son is in a group home.
Yes.
And, yeah, the assisted livings, a lot of those homes can use supplies as well right now.
Yeah, so we're going to be opening that contract business up. You know, we're pulling everything together within the next few days. So like I said, if you guys know of anybody that needs equipment, we're going to set up a separate supply chain for that. But yeah, we didn't even think, you know, this hospital thing just kind of hit us in the face. And then all of a sudden, you know, assisted living and nursing homes, and you know, these people are all shut in and they can't see their families, they can't see anybody, and you know, hopefully we can get, you know, gear to people that they can all get together again. So
what type of order are you going to have? Like minimum orders, maximum? Have you looked at that yet?
I think like I said, we're just made aware of the situation today, so we're going to put together some type of, you know, system where people can buy individually, or you know, it kind of really got the wheels turning again. We're like, oh man, this is a bigger thing than we thought. So yeah, we're still kind of noodling around, honestly.
Cool. Well, keep us in touch, keep us informed of, you know.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else that wanted to bring up anything that's going on for them right now during this time? Business? I didn't see any other comments. Anyone from the neighborhood have anything? Well, thank you all for joining tonight. We're super appreciative of you being here, and it's fun to see all your faces and names. So I guess, Diane, I guess that's it for our neighbor nights, unless there's something else. I do have something, and I know Cheyenne probably will have something to talk about, but actually for Cartwheel Art, for those that follow, we are going to be doing another one of our speaker series. Steve Grody, who wrote the book Graffiti LA, is actually going to do a presentation, and that will be going out tomorrow. The information will be available, and that's going to be on Sunday at 3 p.m. He'll be doing a 1-hour presentation about graffiti, so that should be fun. And Cheyenne, tell us what's going on at Art Share.
Ugh, some days I don't know. We're still producing a coloring book, and we're going bigger and better with the second round. So that's really exciting to see that so many people are interested in selling so many artists are willing to give their time and their talent for these books to be sold, so that money could go back to shelters where a lot of these books are going to end up. And yeah, just trying to pivot like everyone else and understand what the long-term effects are going to be right now. But
especially because you do events, like as an event venue, it's very challenging.
And churches are allowed to come back now. So we have 2 churches at Art Share, and they're asking to come back, and I don't feel comfortable because we have people that live there. So there's a lot to think through in this as we rejoin the world. And Shannon, I'll be reaching out because I almost feel like my staff might have to, use it might become so common in Los Angeles that everyone will be using it. So, but everyone keeps asking. I'm at my family cabin in Sugarloaf in Big Bear, so that's why my scenery is a little different. So, yes, a little homage to my
love it
construction work. So
we're all going to breathe in a little of that air, right?
Yes, it's beautiful.
Nice. And Colette, welcome. See that you just joined us too. All right, Colette, do you have anything? We're just about to end. We were all just talking about if there was anything that anyone wanted to share from the neighborhood going on, or.
Sorry, I joined late, you guys. I just got off telehealth with a patient, and then I usually have a couple at this time. That's why I'm never around during these nights, because I see actually a pregnant couple who's due in July.
Wow.
So yeah, nice to see all your faces. Hope everyone's coping well.
Thanks, Colette. All right. Well, thank you. Anything else, Cheyenne, that you want to add?
Just a thank you to you. You're such an amazing host, and it's been a pleasure working with you. And thank you everyone for coming and supporting these businesses, and just keep supporting them past tonight. So thank you, Cindy.
Yes, thanks you guys. All right.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you guys. Everyone have a great night, and we will all see you soon. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Okay. Bye, everyone.